Okay, let's see if we can figure out what went on with this flight, because this flight was a little strange to me. First off, it came up immediately, very short distance into the flight, with a bad battery that I've never ever seen before in my life on Ardu Pilot, and fail-safed on the battery. Uh, I went ahead and flew the flight because I knew it was 5 minutes, and I don't really understand what's going on there. I don't think that battery could be that bad. And when it got back here, putting it back to storage charge was a cinch. It really wasn't pulled down that much. It was pulled down, but not badly. I decided to go flying today, and within 30 minutes I was out the door. I can do that pretty easily now. On my pack-up checklist, I don't have a listing of a USB cable, so I got to the field and there was no USB cable. I had two on the telemetry tree, one on the SkyDroid video receiver, and one on the, I think it was a Holly Bro. I'll check here. Holly Bro 433 telemetry radio. I flew with telemetry radios today. And when I remembered that I don't have any pass-through on the Crossfire, the Nano Talon has Crossfire in it. Everything else has Dragon Link. I found a great place to put the Dragon Link in the Nano, so I might reveal that this video, maybe not, until I actually do it. So when I got to the field, because it didn't have a speed cable, normally I take the tub out of the car. It's got everything in it. Kind of lay what's in it back in the little trunk section of the hatch. And then there's that privacy shield comes down in most cars now, hatchbacks. The tub sits on top of that underneath the hatch, and it fits there really well. And that still gives me a 1 foot or so area below it to reach in and get the stuff out of the little hatch area. So I usually take that tub out, empty the tub into that hatch area, put the tub up, put the computer in it, turn the computer on, hook the USB cable to it, hook it to the platform, sitting on one of those little stands I use, airplane stands, and let it go ahead right there. And then in there, start getting satellites on the GPS and just warming up everything. Make sure it's nice and steady when I hook it up, very level when I hook it up, the whole 9 yards. But I get that going really, really fast. First thing. Then I turn to the checklist, pre-flight checklist. And then, of course, get out the RC radio. There's no flight battery on the platform at this time, so there's no need for the radio to be on yet. Get all that. If I have to put the antennas on the transmitter back in the back of the TX16S, you know how that goes. It's going to take some time. But that platform is sitting there warming up, gyros and accelerometers, getting this board up to temperature, just basically warming up, and especially the GPS for locking up satellites. So today, not having that USB cable, I had to immediately connect it to the flight battery. As you can see right here in this portion of this video, this is ground station data, that battery had been connected for 13 minutes and 41 seconds before I actually got up ready to launch it. I don't know what happened with the battery today at this point. That's where I'm going in right now and try to investigate it. As you'll see, very short period into the flight, I got a battery fail-safe and a message I've never seen before: bad battery. So go ahead and I'm going to let that run. This has no audio. I didn't turn on the voice in Mission Planner. I did go in and make sure the HUDs weren't overlapping each other. Both the HUD, like you see here, heads-up display with telemetry data and OSD data, because the Nano Talon does not have OSD. So here we go. 13 minutes, 44 seconds in, armed. I don't have the battery voltage over here on the left. That's a video of what went on, but we can change that when I start going through the telemetry logs. Here's the launch. So we'll look at the battery voltage then. Coming around, it's already been flipped into return to launch. Right there it said something. Let's see if I can go back on that. I mean, something came up just before the bad battery. Oops. Right there. Whoa. Boy, it's gone quick. Okay, you're just going to be a pain in the posterior, aren't you? Battery 1 is low. I've got it set to 11.4 volts. Battery 1 is low, 11.35 volts. Use 70 milliamp hours. And that's why it failed safe. Fail-safe set to 11.4. That's 0.05 below 11.4. Could that be how far down that battery came? Oh, crap, I forgot. That video transmitter would have been on at that time, too. And that could suck it, although it's on 25 milliwatts, I believe. I haven't messed with changing the power on it yet. Well, so there's a good reason to set it on a USB cable to lock satellites rather than a flight battery, because in 13 minutes, with the video transmitter running, everything that's running in this, even though the flight motor's not running, I would suppose it could pull down the battery over a volt. Oh well. So that's evidently what happened. We'll be able to look deeper into that here in a second. And of course, right after this warning message came up on the screen, that I don't see how anybody could see that if I'd been looking directly at the ground station at the instant. You're certainly going to see this big red fail-safe. Now, why it says bad battery at the bottom, I have no idea. I've never seen that before. Also notice here on this, real quick, we're in fly-by-wire A here. I'm going to stop it when we hit return to launch. We're flying out, climbing, and there's where I just hit return to launch. I'm going to let it go up to altitude and stuff too. But watch what this thing does. It comes and turns around to the left. Now it's basically above the launch point, but it goes ahead and comes on around to the left and turns back to the right. Well, I guess that was one of the easiest ways to enter the return to launch loiter. Did that on the other field, on the mini Talon. It was like a big S-turn. Why it didn't go up, and as soon as it turned back to the left, go ahead and get in the loiter circle then, I have no idea, but it went on and made a little bit of a wide right turn. Okay, so let's see what we can figure out about this battery. And if I let this run, I don't ever see where it did a airspeed calibration. I won't do it in front of you. I'll pause this narrative and see if I do see it. Decided to look at this another way. And there's a real big bummer right there. At the instant the throttle was, the platform was armed to get ready to fly, battery was at 12.12 volts. It doesn't matter what it really was, because whatever the flight controller thinks it is what it's going to use when it fail safe. So, but no, let it sit there for 13 minutes. You see that up here in this telemetry data. This is actual telemetry inside Mission Planner from the flight that was saved to the ground station during the flight. So 13 minutes, it sat there on the battery. I only pulled it down from what, 12.6, 3S, 12.6 to 12.12 volts. I don't think that's that bad. For 13 minutes of the video transmitter likely was on 25 milliwatts. Telemetry radio was running, GPS was running, RC receiver, airspeed sensor, flight controller. I don't know how much current it all pulls. Well, I guess it says 0.3 amps right here, doesn't it? So, if I click play here, let's go ahead and play at 39%. So we're armed when these amps start up. It's okay. It's barely turning over right now at 2.1 amps, just enough so it doesn't disarm itself. And I always raise one wing up to check stabilization just before I throw it. Checking it a lot now. It is down to 11.95 volts at that instant. Now as these amps come on up, 13, 14, 11, yeah, see, that just makes it sag like a bandit. Now it's flying. It is coming back up. That's as far up as it ever gets. Well, no, there's voltage where it would be non-fail-safe. Guess if I'd have pulled it out of return to launch, it might have not come out of battery fail-safe, perhaps. Not sure how all that works. Still hate that it says bad battery there. And then when it dropped 0.14 from what it is right now, it would fail safe again on battery. So I guess it wasn't bad that I did decide to go ahead and fly the 5 minutes. I had more battery than it was telling me. So there must be some sag compensation that I need to look at on the battery. So it went ahead and pulled it down another 0.03 at this point, and fail safed again, or would have fail safed again at 11.4, 11.39, whatever. Okay, but why does it say bad battery? There's where it should fail safe right there. Bad battery. We'll stop this. We'll connect to the actual platform across the room. We'll look into, back down into the battery. Okay, these need to be looked at for making sure they're correctly calibrated. This is kind of the values that came from MRO Robotics, M Robotics. I don't do anything with this one, so it being a 0. Battery arm volt, no. Battery capacity, 1300 milliamp hour. Obviously, I'm not doing any of these fail safes. Again, this would need to be, see, 3 is PM1. No. 3 is Pixhawk, Pix Racer, Navo 2, Pixhawk 2. Okay. Return to launch on a battery low failsafe. Ah, here we go. Looky here, what I just found. Here it is. I'm pretty sure if I set this to a 1, battery fail-safe voltage compensation. We want to sag compensate that for that takeoff, those high amps at takeoff. Okay, so we'll set that to a 1. I bet that fixes the problem. Ain't gonna fix the problem of sitting there for 13 minutes on a flight battery, but there's what I was looking for and what wasn't set correctly. I'm not doing failsafe on a low milliamp hour. Now then, this is how long. Timeout in seconds before low voltage event will be triggered. This is the timeout in seconds before a low voltage event will be triggered for aircraft with low C batteries. It may be necessary to raise this in order to cope with low voltage on long takeoffs. I don't think that was a long takeoff, but a value of 0 disables low voltage errors. Yeah, that needs to be explained just a little bit. What low voltage errors? All, including the fail-safe? So that's not crystal clear. I like the 10 seconds. I think if I look back at the video, the 10 seconds would have done it. So in addition to doing the side compensation right here, rather than the raw voltage, it fail-safe quick on that. We'll do the side compensated. We'll play with this 10. We'll leave it at 10 for right now. Here's the low volts where I wanted the fail-safe, 11.4 volts. Okay, that's conservative. That could be perhaps taken down a little more. Some people would say as low as 10.8 perhaps. Battery monitor. I assume a lot of this is correct because it's the way it came from MRO, and I assume that it wouldn't be working as well as it is right now if it wasn't sort of correct. Battery options. Yeah, that's advanced. Battery serial number. I don't have smart batteries. Battery volt multiplier. We're going to assume again that that's correct with the MRO setup. Battery volt pin, MRO setup. Max watts. You want to pull it out. Not using that. And then we go into our battery 2. So I don't see anything there would say bad battery to me like it did on the screen, but I think I may have compensated right here with that sag compensated voltage. And this is just batteries. It monitors up to 9 batteries, actually 10, I guess, because the main battery isn't called BAT 0 or BAT 1. It's just called BAT. Oh, it should be. Actually, it takes off with BAT 2, so this is an implied BAT 1. So 1 through 9. Okay, I have to check some other things before I do that save.